Greetings, fam. So, I hope the day is treating you well. I'm Dr. Damon, your Chief Wellness Warrior, and I provide holistic training and support to help you elevate your inner peace and your profits. And I want to talk today about a space for me that is such a deep intersection in all of the work that I do. So if you're familiar with my work as a consultant, as a coach, as a physical therapy doctor, then you know that helping people conquer chronic pain is a special place for me. It is a passion project of mine, not only in the clinical space where I treat patients, but also in the community where I love to educate people on how they can really take their lives back from pain. And I've written the book on it. I do seminars. I talk about this all the time. And if you know, another side of the work that I'm so passionate about is I actually co-founded a nonprofit called the Modern Manhood Foundation, and our mission is to empower men with skills and tools to grow and build better communities. So in spaces of intersection, like where manhood and the experience of men in a modern world and pain really, merge, and I can have conversations and make an impact in the community, this is a space that I really want to be in. So I'm excited for you to join me right now in this moment. And I hope that it can speak to you either about your experience as maybe a man who is dealing with or has encountered some moments of pain and how it affects you, but also as allies and as community members, as family members, as others who may know someone where this story might sound familiar to you. So today's conversation really was sparked by a conversation I had with a colleague just yesterday. And I was talking about a workshop that I have coming up, and it is centered on how to conquer chronic pain. And when I talked about some of the ideas that I had and my philosophy on this, she stopped me and she's like, wait a minute. I need to get my husband in that space. So you need to keep me up to date when this is going to happen. She talked about how she sat in the doctor's office with her husband. They've been together, over 30 years, and both very intelligent and in tune and just wonderful people. And she talked about how she sat in the doctor's office with him. And she said, like, my jaw dropped listening to him talk about how much pain he's in to this doctor. And she said, it caught me off guard because I'm sitting here thinking, well, how come I didn't know about this? I live with you. I see you. I love you. I serve you every day. And I don't know. I didn't know that you were in this much pain, especially in the space of being a healthcare provider. So that really had me thinking about this since yesterday, the realities of what the experience is when it comes to dealing with pain as a man. And so hopefully I can share with you guys some things you can take with you to help you along on your journey, or to help someone a family member or maybe a patient who is going through this space. So first, we have to really understand and kind of clear the space about what society says about pain. Right, especially when it comes to manhood. I know everyone's heard the old adage that pain is weakness leaving the body, right? So as a man, we are often taught to pursue pain, and that it is honorable to be in pain because you are overcoming weakness, or that the presence of pain is proof that what you're doing is correct, right, or even valuable. So when we look at the reality of how pain shows up in our lives, especially as men, we almost wear it as a badge of honor, right? We talk about rough and tumble boys, and we look at societal experiences like football and sports, and we look at war and what that tells us psychologically and socially about the experience of manhood is that pain is just part of the game, and the real successful men are the ones who can deal with the most pain. And that is one of the areas that we really, really have to explore and understand better. So I'm excited to see that there's more research and more focus on understanding that, so that we can all move into the space appropriately, so that we can be our very best and not just simply be martyrs to pain. Another thing that I know you've heard is that real men dot dot dot. I'm gonna let you fill it in because it doesn't even like there's so much out there that we say to ourselves or to our boys about just dealing with pain. A real man is gonna do whatever he has to do, and no matter the cost. And yes, there's it is valiant to be courageous and to be strong and to have perseverance. But when it comes to pain, so many men feel like, again, that presence of pain is proof that they're doing the right thing. And we don't get to the space of actually being able to grow into the areas that we need to so that we can be our very best. And I know everybody's heard the term man up, right? Oh, you in pain? Man up. Just deal with it. I mean, you a man. You a man, right? Men hurt because men A, B, C, and D. So therefore, pain is manhood. And it's there's no space. There's no space for growth. There's no space for overcoming pain. There's no space for actually finding relief and peace in that space. If you've heard me talk before, you know that where I come from and what we know about the complexities of pain and of the reality of the experience of manhood is that pain is an experience. It isn't an experience. It is not some simple, well, if your foot hurts, it's because your foot is damaged or there's an injury to your foot. No, we have to really understand the complexities of pain and find the ways to improve the lives of everyone in our community. So here's what I want you to understand about the complexities of that pain and of that experience. Because when we look at it, the research shows very clearly that the pain experience is different for the gender roles. The experience of pain and the effects and implications of pain are different for men as they are for women. For instance, when pain is an issue for us, women seek out care, they seek out relief, they seek out ways to take care of the pain much sooner than men do. As men, we sit with it, we think that it's just a part of the game, we don't acknowledge it, we don't honor it, and we don't address it. And so when women seek out help sooner, it means that they don't get entrenched as much in the physiological effects of chronic pain. I talk about how when we are in chronic pain, and that means that we're in pain on a daily basis more than 7 days in a row, it can trigger your body to ramp up your pain. You start to feel more pain, or you start to feel pain in other areas of your body or your experience simply because it's been there long enough. When we talk about the neurological experience of pain, it may not even be that there's danger happening in your body. It may be that there's discomfort, right? Physically, emotionally, even spiritually. It may mean that there is actual damage to your body, but also there's dis-ease. There is emotional and spiritual issues that can trigger the experience of pain. So think about what that means in a space where traditionally men aren't very good at exploring our feelings or exploring we're going through emotionally. That can literally ramp up your pain. And that can be a big influence on how you experience pain and, more importantly, how you conquer pain. So when we talk about some of the main differences in how we live and associate and relate to pain, women seek out help sooner, which means they find more relief more often, right? Another difference is that men after experiencing a day or a moment of pain, the next day their mood is much worse. Their lived experience suffers. Their relationships the next day, you'll see he's moody or he's short or he is frustrated more. He is not as happy. He's not bouncing back easily. You notice a difference that when men encounter pain like that, they have worse days to follow more often, whereas women have a more balanced experience of pain through the days. So yes, women experience and report statistically higher levels of pain on any given day, But for men, no matter what that level was, the next day is worse. So imagine the reality of actually having a bad day that has is related to experiencing pain, emotional, physical, right? It's not just in your body, but having a bad day and being able to wake up the next day and that day is still bad or even worse because of what's already happened in the past. That's the experience of men when it comes to pain. And so we have to really look at how we're addressing that because it is different than than how pain manifests in a woman's life. And then also we know that because of the complexities, men need to really be able to focus on more behavioral and emotional techniques, strategies, and ways to really address their pain. It has to be a central part of our experience so that we can conquer it and really take our lives back. So that really goes to show how men's identities are really wrapped up in how we can provide and how we have the ability to show up in our bodies. So you can imagine if our identities are so tightly wrapped up in how our bodies are showing up, and yet we are combating against pain, which society has already told us is weakness leaving the body, or it is just a part of the process. That cycle of hurting, not being able to show up, not dealing with the emotional ramifications of it, having a next bad day because of yesterday, and being back in pain and starting that cycle all over again. There's a lot to be said about the experiences that we have and that we share and don't share. Because when we look at it globally, and especially in the Black community, men are already dying 7 years sooner than our white counterparts. We're already, our mortality is already 7 years shorter. That's 7 years of anniversaries we're missing, 7 years of birthdays, 7 years of retirement, 7 years of vacations, and 7 years of living in joy and peace and seeing the fruits of our labor because we are holding on to and not dealing with stress and anxiety and depression, right? Which all are amplified more in men through a painful experience than they are with women. Women, when they're experiencing pain, are so focused on how it's changing their lives and their ability to show up in their lives at home or at work or for their families that that's their main focus is how do I how do I continue to show up? So I need to go find some solutions. So they're more solution driven and problem focused in the way they manage pain, whereas men are not. We simply eat it, hold it in, don't talk about it because if we do, then it's going to show vulnerability and weakness and then it tears us up and eats us from the inside. And it allows us to develop heart disease faster. It allows us to develop, chronic diseases of inflammation and of debility. It allows us to fall off the horse sooner. It places us at a higher risk for suicide and taking our own lives. This is what it looks like when we really understand the experience and some of the nuances of the intersections of how we as individuals and as society are experiencing life. So here's what I want to share with you guys, right? I want to share maybe some things that you can think about either to help you along your journey or maybe to help someone that you care about. All right. So I want you to keep these three things in mind. Pain must be acknowledged, it must be honored, and it must be addressed. When I talk about that, especially for men, we have to acknowledge when we are in pain. Now, this doesn't mean that all of a sudden you always have to share your feelings or you always have to complain about what you're going through. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is you have to acknowledge that what you feel is real. Pain is, yes, subjective, but it is absolutely real. Absolutely real. It affects us, not just our biology and our bodies, but it affects our psychology and how we see ourselves, what coping skills are out our hands, how we actually see the value in our personhood is affected by pain and the experience of such. And it also affects our social lives and how we show up at work, how we show up for our families, our significant others, our children, our friends. So I need you, brothers, men, to acknowledge when you are hurting to yourself and to those in your tribe, because we cannot help one another if we don't know what we're going through. Okay? That doesn't even mean you have to stop doing what you're doing. I'm not leaning into the space of fear avoidance. I want you to acknowledge what you are feeling and start to explore the connection between your body, your mind, and your spirit slash soul slash spark slash consciousness, what however you subscribe. Acknowledge what is being said between those three areas, because pain is one of those signals. So first you have to acknowledge pain. Second, you have to honor it. You have to honor it or it will grow. And what I mean by honoring it is tap into what the pain is trying to tell you. If if you're in Oklahoma like I am, you know that if a random tornado siren goes off, most of the time, unless it's a Saturday and it's noon and they're doing the test, because that happens, if a random tornado siren starts to go off, you don't just ignore it because I got to go to work or I'm on my way home. You turn on the radio, you try to find a news station that is going to tell you what is happening. You're going to honor that pain. You're going to try to understand what the situation is. You're going to honor that signal. So acknowledge it within yourself and within your tribe or safe places and people who can help you and support you. Then you have to honor it. Find out what this pain is trying to tell you. It's a signal, it's a sign, it's a siren. Figure out what it's trying to tell you. Honor it for being such. And then finally, you have to address it. I've worked with patients in the clinic who have shown up to me because they've had the surgery, they've had the injections, they've had all the medications, they've had the muscle relaxers, they've had the narcotics, they've had the psychotic medications, they've had all of the things to try to fix their pain in their body, and it's not working. And they make it to me and they're going, I don't even know what this is going to do for me because exercise is the last thing I need in my life. And what we have to really understand is when we're addressing pain, it is not a one line or one level treatment, especially if you're working with me or any physical therapist who understands the human experience and the human body, because pain is a biopsychosocial experience. So when we talk about addressing it, you've got to address the pain, yes, in how your body's moving and how you're fueling your body and in the foods that you're eating and how you are resting your body, right? In your exercises or your activity or your work, your occupation. You got to address that part. Your how your body's organized, your muscles, your bones, your nerves, all that stuff. Yes, we have to address that. But you also have to address the psychological implications and spaces of pain. You see, your pain is a signal. And when you address it psychologically, you have to explore what tools and methods of coping you're using. What are your coping skills when pain ramps up or when pain shows up for you? Because those are going to be important to have in your toolbox. What are the psychological experiences of pain telling you? What does your brain tell you about pain? How do you relate to pain? Is pain a sign of ultimate danger for you? Or is pain a sign of discomfort? Is pain something that you have subconsciously linked to certain people, certain places, certain activities? Because those things matter. And when we look at it, pain is also a social experience. So you have to address the social ramifications of your pain. And we have to look at ways of making modifications or exploring how your social life is impacting your pain. Because the way your pain affects you is not neutral. It sends waves into your relationships with your coworkers, your boss, your family members, and the community at large. So we have to address it. So I want you to think about those three things: acknowledging pain, honoring pain, and addressing pain. I know it's a lot more complex than I stepped on a nail and now my foot hurts. But this is how we make the difference. And this is how we help people claim their lives back and really conquer pain. So when it comes to the experience of manhood and pain, we're finally learning how important and how powerful it can be for us to really honor ourselves and take the time in our lives to be able to provide ourselves with self care, to be able to know our tribe and who's there to support us, and to have very clear understandings of what to expect from others and for those others in our world and in our life to expect from us. That is how we conquer pain and how we can acknowledge and honor and address it so that we can all live our healthiest and happiest lives. And this conversation, oh, there's so much more for us to talk about, um, but we're going to finish now. But that is the best segue because these conversations are so important, and I'm excited to have them, and I'm excited to share one of our upcoming events where I'm going to be talking about pain. I'm going to be sharing my book that I wrote about the pain experience. Is the third annual Black Authors Expo. I'm so excited about this event. I went to it last year as just an attendee, and it was amazing. I knew that I need to be a part of this year. So I'm looking forward to showing up and to being able to share more and connect with the community. I'll be selling my book. I'll be booking appointments for clients who want to work with me to help manage their pain or any of the other services that I offer through Willpower Wellness and Consulting. This expo is going to be on February 26th. It is going to be from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's at Rose State College, and it is hosted and carried out by Bell Publishing. They are an amazing company based here in Oklahoma City who are doing some wonderful things for our community. So check them out at Bell Books Boutique and More. It's on Northeast 23rd Street. And join us for this expo. It is free to attend. It's free to attend. And if you want to set up a vendor's booth, or if you're an author who wants to be featured and show up, then you need to contact them. Contact them so that you can get in the know and show up in the spot. I am extremely excited about the work that's happening in this space and about even being able to contribute and to see my community grow in health and wellness. And also be on the lookout because we have coming up this summer, 2023, the Chronic Pain Workshop, which I am excited about putting together and hosting and sharing in the philosophy of how we can conquer pain and take it back from a holistic standpoint, because our experiences and our happiness, joy, health, and profits are all linked. So let's show up for ourselves, our families, and our community together so that we can grow and we can live and we can provide the village that we want our children to thrive in. Thanks for joining me, and I hope that this spoke to you. Please like, comment, share what maybe spoke with you personally or makes you think about some different ways and how you can really approach and conquer pain. Okay? So I'm excited. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well wishes to you. Peace.